Hello, hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
You want to take this? This is your baby.
All right. Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Craig, also known as Tezrak on a variety of socials. Um, Welcome to TTRPG Brunch. This is going to be the second session of our Shadowlight game. So, Shadowlight is my uh, homebrew indie, small press, self-published TTRPG. It is the game is all about exploring mysteries and discovering the unknown and turning over things that are hidden and challenging uh, preconceived notions and accepted ways of doing things. Very heavily inspired by Twilight Zone and a variety of other anthology television series. Uh, So we decided in our session 0, which is the last time that we met, that we were going to play it like the Wild West, but make it weird. So we, in the session 0, we pretty much kind of established our theme, our premise. We talked about our lines and our veils. We said that one of us said a graphic depiction of corpses was off the table, and graphic depictions of sexual situations was off the table as well. So that was pretty much the only two thematic concepts that people had issues with. Then we went into character creation, and I walked everybody through the persona system, which is the underlying rules engine for Shadowlight. This is the default. This is all the knobs and dials turned to the default settings. One of the things that I like to encourage for people that will hopefully be playing either Persona and or Shadowlight in the future is that everything is a knob or dial or a lever, and you can keep or throw away or change pretty much anything about the system that you want. Um, so after we established that we were playing in kind of a Weird West setting, we talked about our lines and our veils and our safety tools. So we went through character creation. So everybody has their characters ready to go. So um, we are starting in a town called Eatswood, and it is a logging town. So it's actually not in the desert. It is in a kind of a low-lying hill valley, um, incredibly forested, which is part of the reason why it was so attractive to people to as civilization starts to grow and expand. One of the things that is needed in building homes and the railroads and businesses, any kind of structures, pretty much, unless you're making them out of stone, you're making them out of wood. So the logging industry is thriving in this small but growing town of Eatswood. Just under 2,000 people living here at the moment. The river flows south into a much larger city called Greymar, which is mysterious to say the least. But before we get any further, let's go around the table and everybody introduce their characters. Who would like to go first?
I'm doing the British gentleman thing of allowing the floor to someone else first.
Well, that means that you're going first then.
Yay! Okay. My name is Ellis Miller. I'm playing Ahab Sandbar. I'm an anthropomorphic catfish man who is not very combat ready, not very vitality full, I guess the word, and more about knowledge and discovery. Do I need to introduce myself as a social person, or is it just as the character, do you think?
That's up to you.
My name's Ellis Miller. My name is Dungeon Bits on every social. I create D&D TTRPG content. I've recently created my second of my 6 classes for 5e, and I'm working currently on making just a pack of 12 free subclasses in case you want to play as the Grinch as a barbarian, for example. over the Christmas period. But yeah, that's me. Fish boy.
I adore that. What was your character's name again?
Ahab
Ahab.
Sandbar.
That's right. Okay. Ahab Sandbar.
Despite my spelling mistakes
I
when
adore
telling.
that. You want to go Franz? You want me to go Franz?
To you.
Okay. So, I'm Squidzy. Just to kind of start with socials, I make tabletop games. Recently just redesigned, reformatted, not wrote, but redid a lot of things on our very first tabletop with what we've learned. And we're still working on Neon Shadows and Long Watch. You find me here. I'm a variety streamer. I will be playing Cedar, who is a leopard gecko, and she's just the sweetest little thing. She can stick to walls. She can disarm She can disarm with her tongue, but there's not a lot of fighting she can do. She mostly uses her knowledge to teach people and is very much a pacifist.
So hopefully Franz has a fighter.
No, sadly, I'm not a fighter. I'm Franz. And I'll be playing Kes, Kes. Pronouns are he, him for both of us, me and my character. And I'm kind of a duelist, someone who's quick, both with his mind and firearms. My 6-round Colt. So no, not a brawler, not someone who has a lot of stature. Really. But be sure I'll be the first one to jump right in front of you should you be in danger.
That's what we need. We don't have a big strong horse, unfortunately.
I know!
Oh,
Our
he's-
big strong horse is not here. He had some things come up, so he won't be making it this round.
Here in spirit.
Here in spirit, absolutely. Big love to Big
And
Bite
his
Games.
character is Flint. He is he's the strong, burly type. He's one of the sheriff's deputies in this town. And he grew up amongst the indigenous people that live outside the town, and he considers himself kind of two worlds. He's very closely connected to the land and to nature, and has a great deal of respect for all living things, treating all living things with respect. He sometimes has to kind of grit his teeth when it comes to seeing how, especially since he is an anthropomorphic horse, how the common horse is treated in use by cowboys, by ranchers, stagecoach drivers, etc., etc. So he's complicated. He has a complicated role in kind of in between these two societies. So Franz, one more time, your character's name, was it Kef, K-E-F, or K-E-S?
Kes.
S as in Sam?
Hmm?
Okay.
And Sam, yes.
All right, and pronouns for Ahab, he, him,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and for Cedar,
She, her.
she, her.
Mhm.
Got it. Awesome. All right, so in the town of Eatswood, we have a few notable businesses. It does attract people from all around. It attracts strangers and travelers and people that are on the road peddling their wares. We have a general dry goods store called Barrel Riders. We have stables and livery services called Saddle and Spurs. We have a saloon called Aces High, a house of comfort called Happy Trails, a hotel called the Desert Inn in the middle of a lush, forested part of the world. Nobody knows exactly why it's called the Desert Inn unless you were to ask the proprietors to tell you their story. And then we have a laundry called YT Threads.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I like to go with the concept in advance that you all know each other, you're all friendly with each other. You may not be the best of friends, but you guys have been in one or two scrapes before. Um, so it is just another day um, in the sleepy logging town of Eatswood. It is a chilly morning sometime in the middle of the working week, and y'all have just woken up. You all, getting as we are all at the same time, depending on our time zone, waking up and sitting around the table, breakfast, coffee. The coffee is hot. Um, Lately, there have been stories that have been going through town. Um, a lot of people like to talk about the city of Greymar, which is to the south of Eatswood. It is much bigger and much more advanced, much more civilized than Eatswood is. Um, there's not a whole lot that people know about, other than this town has seen a lot of rapid advancement and growth in a very short period of time. It is governed by someone known only as the Baron. Um, Baron's not a title that you hear typically for people uh, in the New West, in the western part of the world, where people are traveling to seek out their fortunes, regardless of title or property, land holdings, the way things were done in the old world. Um, but why he calls himself the Baron, nobody knows. Um, Basically, he consolidated three smaller towns, and nobody even remembers the name of these three smaller towns anymore. But the Muscovern River would be more along the line, would be in terms of size, would be like the Mississippi. So so where Eatswood sits is I guess I used the wrong word. I meant a tributary. It feeds into the Muscovern.
For those who don't know how big the Mississippi is, it's quite large.
Yeah, and it runs pretty much north south from somewhere in Canada all the way down to um, the Mississippi River Delta, and then you have offshoots of it all along the way. But the river that Eatswood sits on is a tributary into it, so it feeds into the Muscovern. Um,
Okay.
and the Baron has his hands in a lot of pies, railroads, um, business. Further west, there are cities that are cropping up along the western shores of this continent that you guys all live on. Um, Mining. It seems almost too much for one man to be able to control, but somehow he manages to do it. And he is mining for something that is not coal, it's not gemstones, it's something that has only been whispered about, and it's called Blackstone. To the west of Eatswood is something called Sunfall Valley. Uh, it was recently uh, in, inhabited by another indigenous people who, for all intents and purposes, we could call lizard folk. They're anthropomorphic reptiles, lizards. Uh, what they were, the word that is used to describe them is Enwol. And nobody really knows for sure if that's the name of the people or if that's the name of their family unit, but Enwol is the word that's used to describe them. Up until about 10 years ago, they were surviving, they were thriving, there was communication with them, and then approximately 10 years ago, they were wiped out. Now, whether or not this is just one kind of family unit and there are other family units scattered throughout the world, no one knows for sure. So whether or not this species went completely extinct as a result of this event or not, no one is certain. But it was a very drastic. These guys were there. All of a sudden, 10 years ago, something happened. They were not. Somewhere in the wilderness to the north of Eatswood, uh, people have told stories of some sort of object. It's about the size of uh, some of the larger nation states in the Western continent have more advanced navies, and they have these vehicles, these ships that are called ironclads. They're capable of bringing much heavier cannon to bear. They have armor plating. They're much larger, and that's what this object in the wilderness has been described as, somehow as if one of these ironclads were picked up out of the water and dropped into the middle of land as far as the eye could see in any direction. um, as big as people, and the stories all vary. The stories are, okay, it's about the size of a stagecoach, it's about the size, or it's the size of a house. No, it's the size of one of those buttes out in the middle of the valley, out in the middle of the desert somewhere. Um, it it People don't want to go anywhere near it. Just the sight of it is unsettling. Anybody that's actually ventured into it says that it creaks like yeah, and that there is strange writing on the walls and the surfaces inside of this object. But nobody has stuck around long enough to really get an idea because of uh, how frightened it has made people who have ventured close enough to it. Um, and that's pretty much that's where the stories and the tall tales kind of leave you guys on this lazy, cozy Sunday morning at Aces High.
Ah, the saloon. Right.
There's a whole lot to do.
So we're sat around.
There's a whole lot to there's a whole lot of talk is the first part.
That too.
Um, so as you guys are just waking up and just trying to get your wits about you, the doors to the saloon swing open, and in comes uh, four vaguely human-looking folk. It looks like they're in various stages of. Some of them decided to get dressed today. Some of them rolled out in their pajamas. Um, they're gruff. They're scraggly. Um, they they might have had too much to drink last night, or whatever they had to drink last night might have just been their standard uh, means of getting to sleep. Who knows? Either way, uh, them kind of barging in the establishment makes people turn their heads because most of the people around Eatswood are quiet and mostly polite. So the presence of these four gentlemen definitely takes people by surprise. And I mean, they come barging in, they find an empty table, they pull a chair. I mean, everything about them is brusque and uncouth, and they they wave to the bartender, and we want coffee, we want eggs. And I mean, they're just they don't smell too good, and they're just uh, yeah.
Would we have
This,
recognized them from around here, or do they look like?
they are not locals.
Okay.
Not locals. Okay, since I've been traveling around and been wandering merchant of some sort, hunting my pets and telling them all around. Have I knowledge? Can I deduce, since it's one of my skills, if they are from bigger town or they are workers or like that? I see some clues.
One of them is you don't even and you don't even have to roll because they're not making themselves. They're not really doing anything to hide their intentions. One of them did manage to get mostly fully dressed, and he's got a long oil coat on, kind of dark brown. Kind of hard to tell if it's dark brown or black. Looks like it's well seasoned, and he seems well traveled. Um, he's uh, black shirt, black trousers, this dark brown oil coat, long red hair,
Mhm.
and red mustache and goatee. And he is armed. So he has his gun belt on, and he comes in uh, very obviously brandishing. The rest of them look like varying shades of. Uh, it's hard to tell. I mean, they seem like maybe if they had just enough coffee and just enough eggs, they could probably pass for um, civilized people. Uh,
Okay.
but they definitely look like thugs, mercenaries, like somebody just hired them, maybe to provide security to a stagecoach, maybe to maybe they're bounty hunters, maybe they're out looking for a criminal. Um, there's nothing obvious about them, but they're definitely tough guys.
Yeah, no problem, no reason to interfere. Let them have their drinks. I'm going to enjoy my breakfast. I slide an entire egg into my wide mouth.
Cedar's just sitting there, cup of hot coffee in her hand. Well, they just can't go around treating people like that, though.
Well, it is your right to speak up. Over there, I'm going to enjoy my breakfast. I mean, that man has a gun, and I don't deal with guns unless I have a gun. But I'm bad with guns.
Well, I do, my friend, deal in guns, and those are people I wouldn't mess with without some preparation.
I
How
trust
should
your
Um,
I?
judgment.
Franz, remind me what manner of humanoid person are you? We know that
Hawkman.
oh, a hawk. Okay, gosh, that's right. You did say that. Okay. So it seems to me like you guys are just allowing them to. You're just leaving them be. Is that the general impression that I'm getting? Are you gonna let them be annoying and gruff, or
I'm sat
I'll.
looking at you.
I was gonna say I see a split here. I see so far we've heard from Cedar. Cedar's like, well, you just can't treat people like that, and then Aham is that man has a gun, and I'm going to just continue eating my breakfast.
I'm kinda in the middle. I do want to intervene, but they are just being loud. I'm just sitting there having breakfast, but with my eyes pinned on them and just waiting for an excuse to use my quick draw ability and take cut short the noise they're making. But as long as they're just loud, I'm not
We have
sure.
Ahab is eating his breakfast and not wanting to get involved. We have uh, Kess, who is keeping an eye on them where and ready to go if anything gets ugly. And then we have Cedar, who's
I'll trust you, Kiss, and if you say we shouldn't be messing with them, then we won't mess with them.
We've got our own standoff at the table.
I'm saying is the first sign, notice of danger or wanted behavior on their side, just blink at me and I will. lead.
Well,
Blink
I'm
at me and
the
I'll lead with my upper eyelids or my lower eyelids.
Surprise me.
You have 2 eyelids.
I have 2 eyelids.
Ah, I never really close my eyes. I can't do that.
So to backtrack for just a second. So y'all have come from different parts of the world. Eastwood seems to be very friendly towards um, the not quite human. I mean, there's definitely plenty of human activity, but um, you have noticed a steady increase in other people who look like you, and who look like you meaning other um, uplifted, uncommon, bipedal, anthropomorphic animals. Uh, no one that you've talked to so far seems to know why. It seems like a rather unspoken, unconscious gravitation. You just feel like this place is comfortable for people and people like you. Meanwhile, one of these 4 tough guys, he's a little bit shorter. He doesn't look like he hasn't shaved, but he doesn't look like he's trying to grow a beard. Um, he kind of a thick handlebar mustache, bowler hat. He has got a a thin. It's not. It's hard to tell whether it's white or brown or gray because it looks like it hasn't been washed in a while. Um, Gray wool trousers and boots, and he sort of pushes away from the table and sort of staggers up to, goes over to the bar, said, "I wanted coffee." And the bartender jumps when he pounds his hand down onto the bar counter. And I'm sorry, I had to brew a fresh pot. We ran out. It'll only just be another minute or two. And he opens the tough guy opens his mouth, and it's just got this mouth of just, it's gross, to say the least.
Like chewing tobacco gross?
Yeah, like chewing tobacco. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
Okay, I want to uh, steal the coffee from Ahab and, as quick as possible, slam the cup in front of the quote-unquote gentleman and say, "Hey, just Sunday morning. No need to startle every single soul in town just for a cup of coffee. Here."
You stole my fucking coffee.
Uh, borderline angry. Think at you. Make a
Well,
quick gesture.
so this guy, we're gonna call him Gus.
Ahab will remember this, Gus.
He eyes the cup of coffee, and then he eyes Kess, and he just grabs it, just manhandles this thing. It sloshes around. Just, oh, lazy Sunday morning, my hindquarters. It's about time that me and my friends get out of this, whatever you call it, town. What the hell even are you anyway? And he gives one of these, like sizing Kess up and down, and is like,
I stare at him quite hardly and I say, "Oh, just no one. On enjoying their coffee. The lazy Sunday morning you seem to despise so much. You're free to go. The rest of your day." I cover a little my beak and my eyes with the Stetson I'm wearing.
You realize that we have to have Fluffy draw these characters. He's beholden to this now.
I'll remind him.
And the air is very tense, but once the fresh pot of coffee is served to these guys, it seems like they quiet down a little bit. The people that run the poker table and Pharaoh and the other various gambling tables are starting to also wake up, and they're starting to open for business. So apart from this bit of unpleasantness, it's your average sleepy Sunday morning. So what would you guys like to do?
First of all, Kess, that was handled very, very admirably. That was very good. Didn't have any ruckus causing. Very well done. As to what's to do now, a couple of sites of interest that I want to write down for pure curiosity's sake. But of course, as we are a team here, so I'd like to hear your options. I, for one, are very interested in a ship, a thing of water in the desert. I myself are akin to this ship. Maybe I can see what is going on. Let me tell you, ships don't walk like my strutting ass does, so something's going on.
Nor they do fly. So yeah, that's a
Don't.
good starting point.
They don't fly, and they don't crawl on walls like your eyes either.
Well,
This is why it's so interesting.
well, I've heard the children's stories about how it's haunted, and I think it'd be very interesting to go see if those stories are true.
Haunted by ghosts.
Haunted by ghosts, yes.
Native to the ship, do we think? Because are we talking ghost pirates or ghost cowboys?
Only one way to find out, my friend.
They're just children's stories.
Ghost children?
No.
That's messed up. But then there is this matter of the black rock. That's what it's called. Black coal, black stone. That's it.
Blackstone.
This strange rock, this mineral. If it's not coal or gems, what purpose is it? Can't be some sort of carbon-based mineral in the ground. It would have just called it coal. There's some
Never heard of
scientific mind that identifies it as not just coal.
Never heard of it in all my travels before joining.
You
Well,
have.
And
Good.
I ain't heard Baron since the old days, and so
Were you around for the old days? You have such a youthful complexion.
not around for the old oil. Get that word out properly for a second.
It's all right. Yes, we do have a baron. Maybe maybe it's just a title for a feature of war, or maybe no one contested it. Maybe no one said, "Oh no, I'm the baron," and he went, "Oh, okay. What do I do here?" Maybe some sort of blast off like Kess was implying. You're a gunman. Maybe he was a favored soldier in the past. I'm not sure.
So many questions.
So many questions. So many unanswered questions. It's a crime, I tell you. We must answer all of them. If I'm to go to sleep tonight, I must know at least one answer. Are these ghost pirates or ghost cowboys? That's my number one for me. But I can put that off to tomorrow if we need to.
Oh, my
What?
friend Ahab, are you willing to bet one it is? Pirates, ghosts, or cowboy ghosts?
And my second big question. Since you took my coffee, that second pot that's being brewed, are you going to get Ahab another coffee? Nice piping hot one. 2 sugars, please.
One's on me, I guess. Cedar, do you want anything before we leave this?
No, I've had too many eggs today.
there such a thing as too many eggs?
For a fish, probably.
One is too many.
Have you all had your breakfast? Are you ready to go? I'll skip the coffee. It's fine. I never get bags under the eyes. We can go somewhere else. We can move on.
In that case, can I offer you a sip of whiskey? And I pull
Oh.
a flask.
Little tipple,
My-
little morning tipple.
A little hair of the dog?
Don't mind if I do. Anything wet?
Right from the flask. No need to be.
Oh, right.
Go ahead, take a sip.
That's much better then. Objection to my hands.
I'll take one drop.
Please, sir, can I have
Please,
some more?
yes.
As long as he doesn't finish the flask. Need
No,
that.
it's a bit awkward.
Have your coffee, and I have my whiskey.
Well, and Cedar sets her coffee down, her empty coffee cup down, and stands and gathers her skirts. Lead the way, gentlemen.
Right. Do we need anything on the way out? Are you good for laundry? We don't need to go to the threads.
Nope. Thank you for the follow. Sorry, that completely broke everything for a second.
Who's following us?
Who's following us?
Right. So, if you don't need anything from the white tea threads, we're good for clothes, good for your Stetson, then I think we should be good to go.
And I stand myself up, pick up my bag.
You coming?
All
Kez?
right. So you're going to take the you can take the trail north. There will come a point in time where the trail, at least as far as the stories are concerned, where the location of this ship in the wilderness diverts from the trail. The lush forest leads to scrubland, which leads to a much drier territory.
Wait, did we decide where we were going, or did we just shuffle our way out the door without any kind of direction?
Unless
Oh,
you stop Ahab and go to a ship.
I assumed maybe that was my mistake.
Well, because we talked about the ship, we talked about the Black Rock, and that was it. Then we just kind of shuffled our way out the door, and so I didn't know if we had a direction.
Okay. So then, yes. So we'll backtrack a little bit. I mean, you guys can pick up. You're done with your breakfast. You pick up. You kind of establish whether or not you have any provisions or supplies that you need, and then you all look at each other and go, "Right, where were we going?"
That's kind of what we're doing.
This happens a lot. I'm an old man. I walk up the door and go, "Let's go," and you go, "Where?" Happens a lot.
I, for one, am very interested in this ship.
That makes two, unless you contested Kess, we're going to a ship.
I agree to go check the ship.
Oh,
Because
yes.
I think that before we investigate about the Blackstones, we need to be prepared, be a little more prepared.
We'll get
Yeah,
on the
let's
way
ship.
home.
All right. So now that we've established where our destination is, you're going to head north, away from Eatswood, and to the point where the lush forest leads to scrubland, leads to much drier territory, caves and rock formations. Right on the edge of where forest becomes scrubland is where the trail basically dissipates. Or what you have heard about where this thing might be located versus where the trail is, you're going to have to come off the trail. So, Cass, would you say that your character was familiar, kind of like a survivalist, like a naturalist?
Yes, that's what I.
All right, so why don't we do this? think of a skill that you have that would be appropriate for you tracking for all intents and purposes.
I do have on my special abilities the soar, so I can safely fly high to see where the north is, perhaps see if the trail, if there's some signs about where we.
So that sounds good to me. So you're basically going to take flight. You're going to
Hmm?
get above the tree line, and you're going to scout out from higher up. So do you have a perception skill or a notice or something along those lines?
I do have deducer as a skill on knowledge. The skills on knowledge.
All right. So roll that. Um,
Okay.
roll that skill and tell me what you get for your highest result. And you roll the dice, whatever the rating
Mhm.
is, and you look at the top result, the highest result, and you add the attribute. So if it's knowledge based, you would add knowledge to the highest die roll.
Okay. I have 12.
I'm sorry, 12?
Hmm?
Okay. Um, so what you can see is it looks like this thing was not, in fact, just dropped out of nowhere. It definitely looks like it skidded, like it came from a height, hit the ground, and then continued moving and left like a uh, I mean, for all intents, like if you think of it, if your characters were to think of a skid of a stagecoach with wheels, and somebody pulled on
Mhm.
the reins of that stagecoach real hard, and those wheels came to a stop, they would leave tracks on the ground. That's what it looks like this thing did,
About
and
about how long?
a few hundred feet.
Okay.
Which would mean a few hundred kilometers.
That works too.
My gods. In that case, the boat could fly.
This world. Yeah, so it's definitely something that, like I said, it didn't just go, it was up here and then slap it,
Mhm.
and it cut through the ground before it stopped. You can see the direction, Kess. You can't see the object itself.
Mhm.
It looks like it may have crashed into a cave system or a rock formation, something along those lines. But it definitely gives you, I mean, it gives you pretty much a like X marks the spot. Like you can follow this gouge into the ground to
Mhm.
where it stopped.
Okay. So after I landed, I usually report my findings to my two friends. I don't know about you guys, but I wanna check what's there and most importantly, what's beneath it underground. What do you think?
What Kess
Investigate.
describes to Cedar and Ahab is highly unusual.
Definitely. Well, going to the ship a bit closer would be good. I think going a bit closer, seeing the ship itself would be good. But then, how far do you think we'll have to go to find the origin? If we follow the skid mark on the ground, not in my trousers, if we follow the skid mark from the ship, then that'll give us a direction of what strange origin. I mean, until we find the ocean, presumably, unless this thing could fly and it's missing its wings, like a baby duck.
Is that a look of confusion for Cedar or for Squidzy?
No, I had a question.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, No, it's knowledge of the stars, not of the planetary bodies. Never mind.
You're thinking that this ship could have come from another planet?
No, darling.
I didn't think
Bless
so.
your heart. No, darling, I'm not.
I was going to say, that would be a marvel to find out.
More like it was kind of thrown away like a toy, and it landed and it left these markings on the ground.
Well said.
That's
All right,
the
so
closest thing I can imagine.
Thrown away about what?
A large trebuchet, perhaps.
Cedar is just going to take a very gentle, sticky paw and just very gently tap your side. Yes, dear. By a very large trebuchet.
Until all evidence is found, what seems impossible must be the truth. Let's go. And I'm going to pad my way over towards the ship.
was that an ancient ancestor of yours who declared that?
'Twas, yes, 'twas Vinius Sandbar. He died trying to drink enough whiskey to sustain himself in the ocean.
Oh,
So he ran out of whiskey, so he drank the
that's-
seawater.
and then he
But it's
drowned.
fine.
That's someone I wish I could meet, but sadly I don't think this is possible.
Sadly, he is dead.
Okay, so as you guys find the and Kes returns to Cedar and Ahab and reports his findings. I need everybody to to roll a skill relevant to perception or notice or awareness or alertness or something along those lines.
Oh no.
Something is afoot, and I need to know if you guys become aware of it.
Oh my god. I have nothing regarding perception. The closest thing is survival.
If you don't, then you can roll. You can roll one die, and you can add cunning.
Okay.
You can always do any. You can always do anything untrained and add the appropriate attribute.
Oh, I have a deduce skill. Would that be included?
I'm sorry.
I have a deduce skill.
You can use it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That's a 12. I need a
In
10.
that case, I have 9.
But
overall.
I have a 16 on the deuce.
Ooh,
Okay. Hang on just a second. I'm going to.
Even to our perceptive friend. I trust your eyes above all things, Kess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yes. As you swooped back down to report, you noticed that there are a couple of shapes moving off the trail, but following you. So it's like you landed,
Mm-hmm.
reported your findings, and then something caught your eye. It was a shift in the trees or something along those lines. And you're like, it dawns on you that you're being followed.
Okay.
We are being followed.
Question about the system.
Yes.
Do zeros count as tens?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It should be 1 to 10. Should be 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. And did you get more than 1?
I got 10.
So your highest result was a 10, but did you roll more than 1
No, I
unmodified?
rolled 2.
So you rolled 2 unmodified 10s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in that case, you got a critical.
Okay.
So mark down that you have a critical.
Okay.
And that might become that we'll figure out how you can use that when it becomes relevant, or when it might become relevant. So Cass, as far as you can tell, these two shapes, they stopped just as you landed.
Okay.
So they're not moving anymore, but they're definitely there. And as far as you can tell, they don't know that any of the three of you have noticed them.
Okay, that's perfect. I want to use my crafting skill to set a trap for them along the two traps. One on the trail, on the path we're following, and one slightly on the right. So, in the off chance they are taking a longer route, hopefully I get them in my traps.
Okay. So, how quickly do you want to do it? Do you want to do it to the point that you're gonna like set it? Do you want how? I guess how elaborate do you want your traps to be?
I want the one on the path be looking more quickly done.
Okay.
The other one more precise, more accurate. I hide it a lot better, and I take my time to set it properly.
Okay. That's cool. It's going to be a question of um, we're gonna roll. Your crafting is going to be used to determine whether you get a chance to set your traps first before these two individuals
Okay.
before they get a chance to act. So go ahead and roll your crafting skill.
Crafting skill using competence. 13.
Okay. So all Cedar and Ahab, all you see is, and I would imagine it would stand to reason that maybe Kess has some of these things kind of in a bag that he has ready to deploy. Does that make sense?
Does I have a wide variety of stuff in my talents as a background. So since I was a merchant, a traveling merchant before being a mercenary, so
So maybe the trap on the trail is like some caltrops. Just you just quickly reach in, you grab a bag, and you just throw down caltrops.
okay, I like it.
Only that just seems to be the most reasonable thing for something quick. Um, but all so Cedar and Ahab, all you do is you see. So Cass describes the gouge in the ground leading to where the ship might have landed, and then you see him stop. He looks over his shoulder, and then he just reaches into a bag and just throws caltrops down the ground. Says nothing. I mean, you're not. Are you informing them that you noticed that you were being followed, or are you just doing? Are you just
So
going?
I just go for the traps. I don't want to waste time explaining.
So Cedar and
Uh,
Ahab, you see him throw down a handful of caltrops on the trail, and then he goes to the other side of the trail and starts like setting up maybe a trip line or something along those lines, some deadfall branches to hide it, and you're just like, Kess,
Are you building a nest?
I look at Ahab with just a touch of uh, funny fun in me, and I say, "No, setting a trap. Quiet."
Ah, so those aren't seeds. I point to the caltrop.
okay, so now here's the thing: you're gonna let Ahab know that you're setting a trap. Um, do you want? Are you trying to do that in such a way that these people that are following you, um, that they know? Like, are you trying to hide that from them?
No, what I want to do is for Cedar and Ahab to continue as nothing happened. So they leave footprints. Our uh, followers think we didn't notice them. I will uh, hide in the woods and see what happens. Preferably up on a tree.
Okay. So then, do you have a skill related to um, stealth or sneakiness or anything along those lines?
Sadly, no, I do not.
And that's fine. you can still, again, you can roll one die and you can add cunning to see if you can try and hide yourself after you lay your traps down. So you definitely laid your traps down. Like the degree of comfort and like, I mean, he laid these traps down so deftly that Cedar and Ahab, you look and you're just like, okay. And then you see him hop, and he takes a quick flip of his wings to beat himself up to beat the air and lift himself up into a tree. So go ahead and roll that stealthiness. One die
I
plus.
yes, I have 12 again.
Okay. Unfortunately, that was not good enough, and so you do get into the tree without an issue, but Cedar and Ahab, you hear the crack of gunpowder. So what I need from Kess is, are you going to try and dodge being shot at, or are you going to do something else?
I want to dodge.
All right, so go ahead and roll your dodge.
Matrix that thing, boy.
I'm so nervous.
In the
I
air.
have a 14.
What is your next highest after that? As I tied you.
Cunning? No, prowess. Sorry. So it's.
Oh wait, you only rolled one. Oh wait, yeah. For your no. So how many dice did you roll for dodge?
Just one because I don't have any skills.
Oh,
Related.
you have it. So everybody has dodge, block, and resist by default
Okay.
at 3 dice. I don't know if I ever. I guess I never mentioned that.
Okay.
I might have.
Okay. So
So yes, you're gonna roll 3 dice and you're gonna add cunning.
still at 12.
Okay, so then what's the next highest plus your cunning?
9 plus 8.
So a total of a 9, or
I have a 9 on the dice and cunning. You said.
yes,
If it's 4, it's
so
13.
13. Okay, yeah, it is some Matrix level shit that's going on. So basically, what happens is Cass lays his traps. He beats his wings to try and lift himself up, and he kind of jump flies up into the tree. That motion gives him away, but he hears the report of the rifle and flips in such a way that when he lands, he's unharmed. So basically, what happened is that the top die we tied on, and then he beat me on the second highest. So that's what you do to resolve ties: is you go to the next highest die, and the next second result, third result, and so far down the list. But that has made the two mysterious shapes in the trees aware to everybody now. So you know that not only were you being followed, you know that they have malicious intent in mind. So we've pretty much handled Kess to this point. Cedar, what do you do?
Okay, so the rifle's gone off. Kess is
Yes.
on the ground.
No, Kess is up in a tree.
Kess is in a tree.
You just watched him do some serious like acrobatic type crap to avoid being hit.
Okay, so Cedar's gonna follow instinct, and as soon as the gunshot goes off, she's gonna get to the ground as low as she can. We lost Franz.
Yes.
He's in a tree.
I watched your whole webcam shift into 2. You are now half in GM, half in Franz. Franz is back.
Franz is back.
So she's gonna follow instinct, and I'm immediately gonna get as low to the ground as I can.
Okay. So you're taking your whole turn to just avoid being hit if somebody decides to shoot you.
No, I want to move closer, actually, too, now that I'm thinking about it. I want to get low to the ground and kind of... Not a lot, yeah, like kind of shimmy away.
Towards who? Towards Franz, or towards Kess, or towards the shooters?
I'm going to get towards Kess.
Okay. That works. Ahab, what are you doing?
I'm useless in this situation, so I'm going to look at you.
the wrong thing to do in this scenario. After hearing a gunshot, after you go on the ground, I'm gonna look at you, look at you, Cedar, and go,
Should I do that as well? I've never been shot at in such an open area before. Normally there's some cover. There's no cover.
Oh yeah, there's like, is there any like huge boulders or rocks nearby?
Not yet. No, there's trees. There's trees and there's the trail. You guys were on the trail. You were about to veer off the trail and head towards the object. So the only cover is trees at this point.
Well, I can't fly nor swim in this situation. I have to go to plan C.
Catfish mode.
I'm gonna flop like a fish, and just fall on the floor next to Cedar. The attempt is to try to like just get out of the way, out of line of sight by also getting low.
Are you an anthro catfish? Or you an anthro, or did we just say fish?
Catfish specifically.
As I said, catfish is a bottom feeder, so I mean, you drop into the floor is kind of second nature.
Ah, I can find some sand while I'm at it.
Right.
Okay. So apart from dropping to the ground, is there anything else that you wanted to do?
In terms of my skills, there's nothing really that I can do. I guess literally I'm just gonna have to try and like find the nearest cover and try to like shimmy on over.
Right, so you're gonna get behind a tree. That's fine. That works. All right. So it is time for the shooters to okay. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I take that back. All Kes did was dodge. So Kes, it's your turn. What do you want to do? Runs.
Silent.
Runs.
Snake.
No! He says he feared his mic might have died.
Rip in peace.
Do we have a backup?
Is that yep to a backup? It's okay. Give him a moment to find a backup. Oh, we lost him.
Yeah, he's
And
back.
How about now?
There
Can
we
you
go!
hear me?
Franz!
So Kes,
Okay,
it is your turn.
Yep.
Okay.
I want to play dead and see if I can fool them.
Do you want to? So by playing dead, do you want to drop out of the tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to wait to see if someone actually comes on the trail. If I notice anyone coming our way, if they do, I want to drop from the tree as if they actually hit me.
All right. So you're gonna drop. All right. So you're basically going to play dead by dropping out of the tree and hit the ground. Okay. Do you have a skill, something along the lines of deception or something along those lines to basically try to convince them that you are in fact that they did in fact hit you?
I do not.
Okay.
But I want, since I have a wide variety of stuff, I want to see if I have something that can look like blood in my bag, my wares.
Got some ketchup.
Yeah, you could have a bottle of red ink. I mean, that's totally conceivable. But you're still attempting to convince them that they hit you and that you are
Absolutely, yes.
just
Even without skill, I want to try.
sure. So what you can do is you can call on one of your talents to give you an extra die. So if you have a talent that you think is relevant to the attempt to the challenge, then you can basically tap it, say I want to call on this expertise, and give yourself the extra die.
Okay.
So you reaching into your bag of tricks to grab your bottle of red ink is going to be calling on one of your talents. So you're going to roll 2 dice, and you're going to add competence because you're trying to convince them that they hit you and that you're either wounded and or dead.
Okay. So I have 9 on my dice and 3 on my competence, so 12.
12. Okay. Next highest. I tied you again. You had 2 dice, so look at your second highest die and add competence.
It's 6 total. 3 plus 3.
Okay. So what happens is Cedar and Ahab, you see Kess fall out of the tree. You guys can roll your deduce or perception or whatever the irrelevant skill is to see if you can figure out what he's playing or what's going on. I shouldn't say what he's playing because you don't know if he's playing anything or not.
I don't have a skill.
Do we
so
add
I'm
them
gonna
together?
roll it.
No. You're gonna both roll them individually. You're both. Well, I'm adding.
Do we add the
You
2 die together?
No.
Okay.
You always look at the highest result.
Okay.
And add the appropriate attributes. So it would be, in this case, it would be cunning because it's a perception type of roll.
I got 6 overall.
Okay. So what you see is Kess fall out of the tree, and some sort of red liquid stain his clothing.
He's dead.
I
shot him.
have an 11.
Okay. You see the same thing, but you see him clutching a small glass bottle in his hand. So you see the red liquid that's staining his clothes. You see him fall, hit the ground, but you see a small glass vial that he is clutching in his hand.
I'm going to crawl over to him. I need to go see if I can patch his wounds. He's been shot.
Shh, keep down. Just keep down and keep moving.
The
Keep
2
slithering.
shooters step onto the trail. One of them, so each of them has a long gun of some sort. Depending on your familiarity with firearms, you could tell what it would be. But either way, a long gun of some sort. One of them walks over to Kess. Takes that long gun, points it down at Kess.
I want to hang on. I want to use.
The other one is keeping basically is so you Cedar, you weren't attempting to play dead so much as you were Ahab, you were looking for cover. Cedar, you were trying to make your way closer to Cass.
Mm-hmm.
No real attempts to hide yourself other than now. Ahab, when you were looking for cover, were you trying to hide yourself at the same time?
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to give me since you're not a stealthy individual, 1 die plus cunning is fine.
Okay. That's 8.
Okay. The second individual makes his way directly for you.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
All right. So they're not doing anything yet other than making their way over, but the one guy makes his way over to Cass and points his long gun directly at Cass. The other one is like 2 hands on the gun like this, walking in the direction of Ahab.
Okay.
So Cedar, we're back to you.
I want to use my special ability.
Which is?
Disarm a character.
All right. Cool. So how did we write that?
So I want to disarm the one with the gun pointed at Kess. Yes, with my tongue. Yes.
Hell yeah.
All right. So what skills do you have?
Nothing that can help with that. I have persuade, comprehend, nature, deduce, and navigation.
All right, then in that case, we'll say that the special ability gives you. We're going to give you 2 dice for this. The special ability gives you because you're using your tongue. You're getting 2 dice.
Okay.
So it's going to be 2 dice, and to the highest result, you're going to add cunning.
I'm gonna add cunning. Okay. Oh, I got a 6. That's with additive.
Total.
Yeah.
Okay. How far does your tongue reach?
Oh, I don't know.
What that tongue
Are we
do?
talking about a foot? Are we talking about 2 feet?
Hang on. I gotta pull an Ahab here.
Never pull an Ahab. You have to stretch first.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, about maybe a foot.
All right. So basically, you shimmied over there, but as soon as you saw him point the gun at Kess, you just like up in his business and like your tongue sticks to the barrel of the long gun. You don't successfully disarm him, but you're in the middle of it.
I'm stuck.
So Kess and Cedar and guy number 1, shooter number 1 are all embroiled together. Ahab and shooter number 2 are in a different place behind a tree. Not so fast. So Ahab, it's your turn.
I see. The thing is, I could pull out something offensive and use pyrosphere, but instead, I want to on the floor spin around, look up at him, but like not like spin around so it looks like I'm gonna pull a gun. I just want to turn to him. And you said about if I don't have a skill, I can infuse like a talent in there.
I'm sorry.
I can like infuse a talent in there to get a die.
So what would be what talents do you have?
So one of my talents is because I'm a fish and I need myself some wetness, I can give myself a bit of a personal weather around myself. My hope was, and tell me if I'm absolutely out of line, to not literally create an offensive anything at all, but to create like a round of like a storm around me. So I turn to him to sort of intimidate him as if I'm some sort of like, and he doesn't know this, and I definitely know this, but I'm not an archon of the storm or anything, but I'm just some sort of being of the storm. I'm going to turn around and sort of intimidate him to say, don't.
You're putting a black cloud over his head, basically. A black,
Yeah.
black storm cloud over his head.
You're sad today.
You were sad today.
If that's okay. If not, it's absolutely fine.
Totally fine. I loved it. And at this point, I'm not really terribly concerned about. We can figure out the mechanical details later. So here's what you're gonna. You have a magic skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So roll your magic skill.
My magic skill.
And throw in
wait, arcane. Yes, there it is.
Arcane. That's right. Throw in the extra die for your talent.
An extra one. In that case, I got 10 on the dice and plus 3.
Or 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of a clear day. Tell, but the sky darkens over his head. He looks up and where did that come from? So you have him momentarily distracted by this little kind of meteorological shift that has taken him by surprise. So we'll see how that factors in when it comes time to their turn. But you have
I came here to fight ghosts, and I still can. I just need to change one thing about you, if you catch my wave.
all right, Franz, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
I want to use Sida's distraction and use my ult to shoot the guy who's trying to kill me for real.
Now, are you aiming to shoot to kill, or are you going to shoot to
Disarm.
disarm? Okay.
I won't
Um,
answer.
all right. So I will give you, because of the situation where Cedar's tongue is stuck to the barrel of the long gun. I will. You can have an extra die in order to try and disarm him, because he's at a tug of war with Cedar, and he's partially not aware of the fact that, Cass, you're trying to shoot at him. So go ahead and roll to shoot at him.
Okay. I have 14.
All right. Cedar, is your control over your tongue finely tuned enough to the point that if something was about to pull you with it, that you could just let it go?
Not depends on how fast they pull.
All right. Well, this is what happens. This is that Cass shoots to disarm the guy. So he shoots at the gun. The gun goes flying. So basically, there's a flying long gun out here, and your tongue. So,
I
can
wouldn't
you
say
let?
it's that fast. I definitely
You
wouldn't
want,
say it's
you
speedy
want to
bullet
roll?
fast.
Do you want to roll to try and let it go?
Sure.
All right. So, do you have? I don't think you have anything relevant. So just roll one die, not cutting.
5, 7.
Okay. You're not that fast, but your tongue is still stuck to the gun, but now it is in your possession. So it goes. Yeah,
Great.
you have it now.
I
Because quick on the draw, Cass pulled his pistol and shot to disarm the guy.
yeah. I didn't even think about that when he mentioned doing that.
Yeah. So you have this long gun in your possession with your tongue still attached to it.
Great.
So that was Cass's turn, and it's back to my folks. So the formerly known as shooter, who has now been disarmed, is all like, um, he is going to make a run
Right.
for it.
Okay.
So he is running into the woods. So either Cedar, you're kind of tied up with the gun at this point.
Yep.
Literally and figuratively. Tess, are you going to try and stop him?
Absolutely. I want answers from him. I want to know why they are following us. And yeah, I want to try to stop him.
All right. So he goes to make a run for it. How are you going to try and stop him? I mean, you could just shoot him if you want. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do. So I shoot
roll to shoot.
from my ankle, from my hip, and I try to go for the legs.
All right.
So I have 12.
All right. You get that second shot off, but it wings him. It gets his coat, and it doesn't do enough to trip him up to the point where he gets away. So he makes a run for it. Now, when it's his next turn, he's going to do something different, but it won't be until it comes back around for him. So you can still see him, and he's gotten some distance away. The other guy with Ahab is guns like this. He looks up, storm clouds over his head. What the? He he's going to see if he can figure out whether this is natural or not. So, Ellis, roll Ahab's arcane again for me, please.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me check. Okay, 4, nice. That's a 13 again.
All right. Well, this ain't good. And so he dives. He feels like his safety is under imminent threat, and so he dives. I don't know. Maybe he feels like he's going to get struck by lightning. Basically, he dives into the trees, and his gun is no longer pointed at you. So, Cedar, we're back to you.
Okay, so the one guy's taking off.
Yes.
I'm gonna untangle my tongue from around this rifle.
Yeah.
Lots of mumbling and cursing as I go. And I'm gonna turn around to look at the guy who went for Ahab, who is now with a black storm cloud diving for cover.
There's no cloud. The sky is completely clear. This guy is convinced that there is some sort of storm cloud over his head.
Got it. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was like something we could see or something only he could see.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, who is just randomly diving for cover then?
Yes. He lets him. What the hell? Whew.
Okay. Cedar is going to.
I mean, Ellis, is that cool? Like, am I doing it the way that you envisioned it? That you were trying to convince him that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying to give him the creeps, basically. Like, oh god, what's happening?
Yeah. So he has hit the dirt somewhere in the trees, and he's just briefly hunkered down.
Okay. Cedar's gonna hold the rifle entirely incorrectly, and no finger on the trigger. She at least knows that much, and make her way over to Ahab, kind of making sure the guy doesn't come out of the bushes. Not quite sure what's going on, but prepared to, if nothing else, whack the shit out of this guy with the butt end of this rifle.
Okay, so you're in between. You're basically Ahab, then you, then the guy.
I was headed my way there since I was close to Kess.
Okay, so by the time your turn is done, you're basically standing over Ahab, ready to smack him with the butt of the long gun.
Yes.
Okay. Ahab, what are you doing?
Seeing him duck in the trees, I'm gonna go.
The forest is the last place you want to go in a thunderstorm. Let him believe it. Right. Now, what to do about this? I think we need to question this son of a gun, unless we just leave him. I'm thinking we're going to have an attempt at questioning. Now that you have his gun... Oh no, he has his gun, sorry.
He has his gun
Yeah,
still.
that's an important step.
You're disarmed. Right, I'm going to, in that case, since brain dead in terms of, like, social, I'm going to walk out with my hands up, stand up, walk out with my hands up, and I imagine this isn't going to work, but that's fine, because Ahab believes it will. I'm going to use scholarly diplomacy.
Okay.
Look, we can work this out as equals. See? Let's work this thing out. We have no intentions of striking you, therefore you have no intention of striking us. Let's discuss this. If it is a bounty, maybe we can arrange some payment.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
So we're thinking this is going to be what skill as a add?
So scholarly diplomacy, what is that for you? Is that a special ability?
That is it. C. Oh, C. What was C again on the?
What category does it fall under? Skill,
Talent.
social ability, power, or talent?
I put it under talents.
Okay, that's fine.
Also,
so again, we're gonna figure out whatever. So the appropriate. So you're basically trying to talk him down. Yes. So If you don't have a skill that has to do with negotiation or bargaining or anything like that, then it's going to be 1 die plus competence. But you're gonna ping the scholarly diplomacy talent, which is going to give you an extra die.
Okay, in that case, it's 11.
Yeah. Okay, 11. Okay, so what was the second highest? Because we tied.
Well, it was only 7 overall.
All right. He seems, for whatever reason, to be rather terrified of the fate that is about to befall him from the sky. Um, it's not that your words are failing to convince him to let go of his gun. It's just that he's like, he's shut off. Cass, what are you doing?
I want to. I'm sorry. What's the situation with the guy? What is he doing?
One guy is hunkered down, thinking that he's about to be struck by lightning
Okay.
from a cloud, and the other guy is running
Okay.
into the
Yeah,
woods.
yeah, he fled. Okay. So I walk to the beautiful one that hunkered down,
Yep.
very silently, as silently as I can. I take my Colt, my 6 rounds, and very loudly I prepare it and tell him in a low, menacing tone. You know what does attract lightnings? Lead. Will you kindly cooperate with us?
So you're raising your gun up into the sky,
Mm-hmm.
making him think that it's going to try to basically that it's going to attract a bolt of lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I feel like this could be another like a convince or even an intimidate kind of situation. So you pick whatever you think is appropriate to roll and roll it.
So I'm going. Oh, I have a critical. I have 2 unmodified 10s.
All right. You have a critical. Write that down.
And I have 14 in total.
Yeah. Between the sight of Cass standing over him, holding the gun up, and the exhortation of calling down lightning onto his head, he just his face drains of all color. He has this look of fright, and he passes out unconscious. He drops the gun. So the one guy has fled. This guy has. This guy is unconscious.
Okay.
Success, then.
You managed to successfully avoid being murdered. Yes.
Oh, well. It's a good time any day. Any day. It's a good time, yes.
It's always a good day when you can avoid being murdered.
I won't be like my other relative to get shot, Tuna Thurman.
Tuna Therm, I swear. Oh.
So wait, is that tuna? Hold on a second. So then, is that
To my mother's side.
Oh my god.
Tuna Thurman Sandbar? Is Thurman her maiden name?
It was her maiden name. We got that out quick with the marriage.
All right. So, what are you doing? Are you,
God.
I want to turn to Ahab and tell him, well, seems like we got a big fish in our net today.
Ah, I like it. So, what should we do with this skipper? Should we tie him up when he wakes up, or are we going to leave him to his own devices in the hot sun?
I check my bag to see if I have some ropes. Guess
Totally.
so. I made the traps, so I'm guessing.
I have nothing of the sort. This is up to you.
Yeah, Cedar is going to very gently set the rifle on the ground and kind of nudge it away. That way nobody actually like kicks it.
It's not going to hurt you. Unless you wanted to.
More or less, I don't want it to accidentally go off.
That's a good point. I've never really shot a gun at another person before.
I mean,
Look up.
after Kess ties up the guy, I mean, Kess is knowledgeable enough with guns to he could unload it if you asked him to.
Directly take the long gun in my care.
Or there then that too.
There we go. You're armed to the teeth. Do you have teeth?
To the beak.
To the beak.
To the peak.
Beak.
All right, so
Don't
you
mind.
have the guy tied up. You have confiscated his long gun. What do you do next?
Guys want me to wake him up, and perhaps Ahab can see if he gets the answers he was talking back at the saloon from him, or just hanging
Well, the
tree
difference
and
between
leave.
this guy and the group of four tough thugs that walked into the saloon, this guy is much more professional looking. He is um, clean shaven, short hair. His oil coat is or oilcloth. His long coat made of oilcloth is much. It almost seems like it would be useful to keep him concealed, like it had a purpose. Um, his clothes are much better tailored. He has a sidearm in addition to the long arm, so you can disarm him of that as well. Nothing more extravagant than Kess's Colt, um, but he seems way more professional than the scraggly guys that you saw in the saloon in the morning. But if so, you want to wake him up?
Definitely some kind of mercenary. His employer. That is the question I want to know.
I mean, I think we should wake him up.
And at the very least, it's much too early to go to sleep. So let's wake him up. Yes.
Do you want me to wake him up gentle
If you
way
can.
or the hard way?
Gently.
Gently? Okay. I reach for my bag and I take out the salt from it and I spray it under the nose of the thug and see if he wakes.
Okay,
Smelling
so smelling
salts is
salts.
a gentle way.
And of course, as soon as he gets away from the smelling salts, it's
Hello. Sorry. Bit of a rude awakening. I like to be awakened by the smell of eggs and bacon in the morning. Please, do give us an answer here. We were just walking and heard a gunshot. I think it was one of your friends. Why? I don't believe we've crossed each other before.
nothing to say to you.
That's fair enough. Well, I can't get anything out of him.
I want to use one of my I think it's a talent. Let me see. Let me pull it back up. Oh, yeah, it's a talent. So if he's got high emotions right now, one of my talents is to calm high emotions of an individual.
All right. So, what are you going? How what is that going to look like?
So I want to walk up and kind of sit on the ground, get on his level. I'm not super close, but I'm close enough. Um, just a real gentle voice. Just I know that you got a really big scare, but everything's okay. You're safe.
did to me, but
You cut out.
he looks at Ahab, and then he looks back at Cedar. I don't know what that warlock did to me, but some sort of didgery-pokery.
In all fairness, you were gonna hurt him, and it's not any kind of didgery-pokery. He's not a warlock. He wasn't gonna hurt you. He's harmless.
So, Cedar, you can ping your talent. So roll something along the lines of you're trying to again, negotiation, diplomacy. That would be an appropriate skill. So if you don't have that, it would just default to 1 die plus competence.
I have persuade
All right, that works.
plus competence.
Yes, if that's the way that you set it up to begin with, that would make the most sense.
7.
A total of 7.
I rolled that 110, and that's it, guys.
All right. Here's what you can do. You have a banked critical. Do you want to just declare this an automatic success? Because otherwise, he seems like he has put up a stone wall between the two of you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do this one a success, and then hope somebody else gets a banked critical later.
So you're spending your banked critical, and it was just a job. The boss said that if anybody was going out there towards that thing, that we needed to stop them.
Well, why is that? Is it dangerous? Why is that?
I don't know. We don't ask questions. We just do what we're told.
That's understandable. Sometimes we just have jobs to do. Who's this boss of yours?
Mr. Slade.
Mr. Slade. Would I know that name? Would that be a name I heard?
So, has Cedar, how well traveled is Cedar?
Not super well traveled. She was a school teacher who decided to stop being a school teacher. So she's not super well traveled. She's just getting started.
All right, so Cedar would not know that name.
Okay.
Tess, on the other hand, would know that name. Mr. Slade, aka Drenth Slade, is the Baron's man-at-arms. The Baron of Greymoor. It's his man-at-arms.
Yeah, Mr. Slade. Have y'all heard of this Mr. Slade?
I did. Not good news for us. It's bad news for us.
Oh, bad news.
Yes. Tied to the Baron.
Oh,
Shady,
all the way
the
to the top
shadiest man around here, you know.
She looks
So the
back.
Blackstones.
I'm sorry, Franz. What?
You know about the Blackstones?
Mhm.
Habware was asking about and poking around. Said he's tied to that business, but I don't have any proof about that. Just rumors, you know, along the trail.
The only thing you know for certain is that Drenth Slade is the Baron's man-at-arms. So like his personal enforcer, the captain of the city guard, kind of all rolled into one guy.
Okay.
This is a big piece in the game.
Yeah.
Not on our.
So the fact that the Baron's man-at-arms hired guys to keep people away from the object is kind of a big deal.
Here's the way I'm looking at it. This man wasn't sent to specifically kill us, so there's no bad blood, but he's but one of two. Your other friend ran away, probably to
one of
report.
one of two just here and now, mind you.
So information could, as we speak, be on the way back to, someone a bit more dangerous than this fellow. So how does that put you all? Because it's giving me the jibbies.
All right. So
At least Kyle managed to make a run for it.
now
Oh, Kyle, you say? Nice. Let me write that down. I pluck my own feather and I make a motion like to sign the name of the other one. Yeah.
Sure if that means nothing or not. Lots of folks named Kyle.
now like our friend here said, there ain't no bad blood. You're just doing a job.
So you gonna let me go or what?
Well, I'm willing to let you go, but are you willing to let us go?
Well, seeing as how you got the drop on us, I don't think I'm in much of a position to try and stop you.
No, I suppose you ain't. Well, I want to thank you kindly for having this little chat with me. She stands up. She dusts her skirts off. She looks at Kess. I think we should let this kind fella go.
But on one
What do you
condition.
think? One condition. Let's hear it.
Son, your friend's name was Kyle. What's yours?
Werner?
Werner. Do you have any whiskey?
And I got a tip flask, not much. Maybe a
Good. Willing to share?
not seen as in I'm in much of a position to refuse you at this point, since you still
You
got
see
me.
this fin? Look how much this fin is shaking. That wasn't like this morning. I'm shook. I need a little bit of a tipple.
He shook it.
Sounds like that's a personal problem.
I do believe yes. Where's the tip flask? I'm literally, while he sat there and you spent all that time being persuasive, I'm gonna be like reaching wherever I can to try and find this tip flask.
You can shake him out for his hip flask. His hip flask is literally on his belt. I mean,
Excellent. I'm gonna drink some and pour the rest out on the floor. There we are.
Ahab, normally I would have shot you for this. Today I'm feeling kind of merciful, so I won't shot you. But I agree with
appreciate it.
Guy go.
You just lost some whiskey.
You is
And
just
a fight
whiskey.
on a personal level.
You
What
know,
makes you less of a man?
Cedar's gonna untie this poor fella and just go on now. Go on.
Or I've got another spell.
He will.
Just
Yeah, he will. He's not going to run, but he definitely makes a spirited walk in the opposite direction, and leaves you be, leaves you uncontested to continue on. So dun 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 dun.
Yay!
No one died.
Yes, no one died. Just a quick time check. It is quarter to the hour roughly. Everybody okay?
I can go till 1.
So you've got it. No, okay.
I can go another hour.
Okay. All right.
Franz,
so,
are you good? I saw Dungeon Bits with a thumbs up.
I'm good.
No, I don't have a whole hour, sadly. I have the quarter we have left and nothing more.
Okay. Well, then maybe this is a good time to stop.
I think that's an excellent time.
Okay. So, so the next time that we pick up, we will we'll continue on and see what's happening. And as you make your way towards the mysterious object that crash landed.
Do y'all want to do goodbyes, outros?
Sure.
Can do.
I have a link tree now with all my. I'm not sure where I can throw that. I mean, if I throw it in our Discord chat, can you throw it in the?
You can throw. Oh yeah, I can. I was gonna say, or you can.
Oh, I'm not on the stream, so I'm just in Discord. So
Yeah, throw it in Discord.
Okay. So it's all my socials in one place with my bright and shining face from age, I don't know, 2 or 3. My outro one more time. This is Shadowlight powered by Persona. It is on my itch page. It is actively in development. It is my hope that I might have something significantly more official to bring around to me with me to cons next year. So that's me.
I'll go last to sign us out, so whoever wants to go next.
This?
What?
Sorry?
Is that you saying?
Franz, go.
Oh.
Franz.
Okay, so I'm Franz, Prince of
Yeah.
Fate on Twitter, and I'm writing a TTRPG that's huge. It it mixes fantasy elements and various genres with a little bit of real history and places from my town. Hopefully, will be out next April. So check it out.
I'm so excited for Planes of Fate.
Squeezy.
And I'm Ellis. I'm Ellis, calling myself Dungeon Bits on all my socials. I make myself TTRPG products, mostly D&D. Right now, I don't have entire TTRPGs like these fine fellows, but I do have classes that are released for 5e products, 2 at the moment, and 4 down the line alongside. I have the plan to release a monster creation book, not just a monster book, for people to use as a resource. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter, the DMs Guild. I could put a link if that's okay.
Please do.
That's just for my actual class itself. I've heard some nice things about the Malefactor and the Incarnate. People like the front cover a lot, at least. And I like the class, and I think you'll have lots of fun if you do play 5e and all that. So yeah, that's me.
Put a link in.
He did in the Discord for his,
Oh, in Discord?
for his DMs guild.
Okay, let me do that real quick. Let me pull that up.
And by the way, in terms of comparison for the two products, the Malefactor and the Incarnate, they're both the same price, but the Incarnate has more in terms of like magic items and subclasses and stuff. But that's not to say the Malefactor is not worth less.
Just different.
Yes, just different.
All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us on stream. Stick around. We're gonna go raid Lost Caravan. They are streaming at the moment. So thank you guys so much for joining. You can find me here just through the week, sometimes sprinkled in. Fridays for sure. And we'll get this all set up. This will be posted on the YouTube channel. Hopefully, if nothing stops me, tomorrow. And my link's been going through with Nightbot, so I'm not even going to bother. But thank you guys so much for coming and joining. Thank you, 3, for playing. This is so much fun. I can't wait for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Bye,
That was great.
everyone.
See you.
Here.
Bye.
Bye.